Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. We all have a number in our minds. Maybe it's not multimillionaire status, maybe it's not private jet status, but it's a number where we feel like we can breathe, a number where we feel comfortable. But here's the thing. That number is not as objective as we think. Every year, Charles Schwab surveys thousands of Americans and asks, how much money do you think it takes to be financially comfortable? And every year, I do a video on it. But here's the thing, this year, they've doubled the number of survey respondents. So hopefully, this is leading the way to giving us a more clear picture of what it takes to be financially comfortable. But here's one thing that we do have to consider. At the end of the day, what people actually have and what they say they need to be comfortable are two very different numbers. So let's dive into the 2025 Modern Wealth Survey by Charles Schwab and see what it tells us about the gap between perception and reality when it comes to feeling financially comfortable. So how do you even measure something like financial comfort? Schwab asked an open-ended question. At what level of personal net worth would someone in your area be considered financially comfortable? No multiple choice, no drop-down menu. People had to come up with their own number. And that matters because when you hear the term net worth, what do you consider as being part of your net worth? Do you just look at your investment accounts? Are you factoring in your home, perhaps a business? It's going to be different for everyone, and this tends to give us a picture of reality that tends to be a little bit messy. So what did people say? Here's how much net worth each generation said it would take to feel financially comfortable. Gen Z, about $330,000. Millennials, almost $850,000. Gen X, about $780,000. And baby boomers, just over $940,000. Now, at first glance, those numbers can feel quite ambitious just for striving for financial comfort, especially for the younger generations. So let's break it down a bit. Let's say someone in Gen Z actually did reach that $329,000 threshold early in life. Maybe that's through saving, through inheritance, or building a business. If they left it invested for 35 years at an 8% annual growth rate, it could grow to nearly $4.9 million by retirement. That's the power of compounding. Now let's look at millennials. Their comfort number was about $847,000. If they left that invested for 20 years at 8%, they'd end up with almost $4 million. Gen X, their number was $783,000. If we left that invested for 10 years, it could grow to about $1.7 million. And for boomers, many of them are either retired or close to it. So for this group, let's shift the conversation from growth to income generation. If a baby boomer household had that $943,000 in investments, that comfort level, and followed a 5% withdrawal strategy, that gives them about $47,150 per year as retirement income. Now, importantly, let's add Social Security. Let's say this is a dual income household. One spouse brings in $2,000 a month in benefits and the other $1,500. That's an additional $42,000 per year in Social Security benefits. Altogether, that household is looking at an annual income of about $89,000. And importantly, that income has inflation protection built in. Social Security has cost of living adjustments built right in, and when you use a safe rate of withdrawal, that allows for periodic inflation adjustments as well. Now, while these aren't luxury wealth numbers, this is certainly a number that would allow many retirees to live solid and sustainable lifestyles. I think this is a really powerful reminder that with Social Security and a solid foundation of investments, you can easily have a near six-figure income in retirement. And really, at the end of the day, you just have to be able to afford the life that you want and a plan that gets you there. Now, keep in mind, all the numbers we've been talking about so far, they reflect what people say they need to feel comfortable. And that word comfortable seems to carry a lot of emotional weight. It's not about lavish or luxury. To me, when I talk about being comfortable, it means I'm not stressed about money. It means that I feel like all my basic needs are met and I have a little bit of room in my budget, that I feel that I have enough. But wealth, that's an entirely different conversation. This same survey from Schwab also asked people, what net worth would a person in your area need to be considered wealthy? And here's how how the numbers shifted. For Gen Z, $1.7 million. For both Millennials and Gen X, $2.1 million. And for baby boomers, they said $2.8 million. So not only is the wealth bar much higher, it also feels kind of aspirational. It's about abundance and having options. It's about getting to the next level. But here's the part I want to slow down and say. Yes, those numbers are large. 2 million, nearly 3 million. I don't want to downplay that at all. That takes an entire lifetime of work and sacrifice and discipline. But I bet if you sat down with someone who took 40 years to build a portfolio of $2 or $3 million, I bet you they wouldn't say they feel wealthy. I bet you they would say they feel comfortable. Because even with a 7-figure balance, fears don't go away. That fear of running out of money, the fear of the impact of inflation over time, the fear of unknown medical expenses or long-term care or what might happen to your spouse. Yes, it might look like you have enough on paper, but when you have to make this portfolio last 30 or 40 years, there are very real fears. And it's easy to assume that with a higher net worth that you don't have any more stress about money, but that's not generally what we see happen. Yes, you may have a greater sense of comfort when it comes to your finances, but you also still have some bigger stressors. That's why I think it's so important to remember that wealth isn't a static number. It's a moving barometer, and the Schwab survey shows this clearly. When people were asked what wealth actually meant to them, they didn't just say money. They also said happiness, health, relationships, free time, life experiences. In fact, more people picked happiness than how much money I have. And that tells us something really important. Wealth isn't just a number, it's also a feeling. It's being able to have control over your time and say yes to the things you want to and say no to the things you don't want to. It's not just what's in your account, but it's also, do you have say over how you live your life? How much control do you have over your life? How much peace and sense of security do you have? So yes, the numbers matter, and it's helpful to see what people aim for and how the definition of comfort and wealth change across generations. But at the end of the day, the real question isn't what do people feel is comfortable or what do people feel is wealthy. The real question is, do you feel like you're on track? Let's take a moment to look at the real world, because what people say they want and what they have don't always line up. According to the latest Federal Reserve data, here's how it actually looks as far as median net worth and average net worth across generation. I'm also going to throw in the average 401k balance by generation here, just so we can see what investments look like when we take out home equity. There's a big gap, right? Especially when you look at median net worth, which tells us where most households actually sit, not just the higher earners. And here's the thing, most people probably do include their home when they're talking about their comfort number, because your home has value. It absolutely does. But unless you're pulling an income from it, it doesn't bring cash flow. So why does this matter? Because I think this survey quietly revealed something deeper, and that's that most people simply want to be doing better than they currently are. Whether that's earning more, maybe having less debt, maybe having more room within their budget, maybe having the freedom to retire sooner. Whatever your version of comfortable looks like, there's one thing you can do that'll move you a step closer to it. The Charles Schwab survey found that it's not about your income and not even about your investments. It's whether you have a documented financial plan. Here's what the data says. For those who say they're already wealthy, 25% have a written financial plan. Of those who have no plan, it's only 11%. For those who say they're already comfortable, 39% have a written plan. For those who say they're already comfortable, only 20% have no plan. And for those who say they're on track for wealth, 36% have a plan. Only 24% don't. Having a written plan more than doubles your chance that you can say, yeah, I feel like I'm going to be okay. And it's not because your numbers changed, it's because your outlook did. A plan reduces anxiety, decision fatigue, and uncertainty. It helps you find your path and stay true to it. So no matter where you are right now, whether it's just getting started or staring down retirement, take 30 minutes this week and put your plan on paper. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be real. What are you earning? What are you spending? What are your goals? How much do you want to spend? Doing this will get you one step closer. And remember, financial security isn't one fixed number, but it starts with having a clear plan, and then you can work out a path to get there. And you don't necessarily need millions to make your dreams come true. You just need to know what you're aiming for, and then you can develop a plan to make it work. So what are your thoughts on what's comfortable, what's wealthy? Share your numbers down below. I'd love to hear your perspective on this. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. I feel like my camera is just too high or I'm too low. Did I shrink? Am I weird? Am I like, can you put the leaf blower away? You already did that part of the driveway. I've got like 4 sentences I want to say to wrap this up, but we need Mike to stop with the leaf blower. There he goes again. It's like, it doesn't. It doesn't. I swear every time he stops, he starts again. It's boys and their toys. Like, I swear, a girl would have been done. Like 20 minutes ago. He just wants to push the button. Don't worry, I still like you.